Your Barbadian passport can get you into some of the most powerful countries on Earth, completely free. No visa, no embassy appointment, no stress. And in 2026, the list just got even better. Today, we're counting down 7 countries that roll out the red carpet for Barbados passport holders, and number 3 might genuinely shock you. Country number 1, the United Kingdom. Let's start with one of the most powerful passports in the world, the United Kingdom. Barbadians can enter visa-free for up to 6 months. No appointment, no waiting. Just land, clear customs, and you're in. Walk through London on a crisp autumn morning. The Thames cutting through the city. Double-decker buses. The kind of history that you can literally touch. Ancient castles, cobblestone streets, and centuries of stories built into every wall. Drive through the Scottish Highlands, where the mountains seem to rise out of nowhere, dramatic and silent. Or lose yourself in the English countryside, rolling green hills, village pubs, and afternoon tea that actually hits differently when you're there in person. But here's the surprising part. Most people don't realize just how rare this access is. Only a handful of Caribbean nations enjoy this level of privilege with the UK. 6 months, no visa. That is extraordinary. Country 2, Germany. Next, Germany, the economic engine of Europe. And yes, Barbados passport holders get in, visa-free. But this one is about much more than just Germany, because the moment you land in Frankfurt, Berlin, or Munich, you don't just have Germany, you have the entire Schengen Zone. 27 European countries, one seamless journey with no border checks, no additional visas, no complications. Berlin for the art and the history. Paris for the architecture and the romance, Rome for the food and the ruins, Amsterdam for the canals and the culture, all of it, within reach on a single entry. Most people don't know this. The Schengen access alone puts the Barbadian passport in the top tier globally. There are people from much larger, wealthier nations who cannot access Europe this easily. And yet, here you are. But things get even more interesting. Country number 3. Singapore. Singapore. This one surprises people every single time. Imagine stepping off a plane into one of the cleanest, most efficient, most forward-thinking cities on the planet. Glass towers reflecting the sky, gardens growing on the sides of buildings, a city that somehow feels futuristic and perfectly organized all at once. One of the most advanced, wealthiest, and most strategically located countries in Asia, and Barbados walks right in. Visa-free. Up to 30 days. Think about what that really means. Singapore is a global hub for finance, technology, trade, and innovation. Companies from every corner of the world have offices there. Conferences, summits, investment forums, all happening constantly and accessible to any Barbadian who decides to show up. The kind of business networking and opportunity in Singapore is unlike almost anywhere else on Earth. How many Barbadians even know this door is open? Keep watching, because the next one is even more unexpected. Country number 4, Brazil. Brazil, the largest country in South America. 8.5 million square kilometers of rainforest, coastline, culture, and carnival energy. Picture this. You land in Rio de Janeiro, the mountains meeting the ocean, the sound of bossa nova drifting from somewhere down the street, the most iconic skyline in South America stretched out in front of you. And you got there visa-free. But Brazil isn't just a place to visit, it's a place to do business, to connect. South America's largest economy, with a growing middle class, a booming tech scene, and cultural ties to the Caribbean that run deep. And Barbadians? They walk in, completely visa-free. No paperwork, no waiting rooms, just opportunity from the moment the wheels touch down. This isn't just a tourist destination, it's a continent of possibility, and your passport unlocks it. Here's something to think about right now. If your passport already unlocks this much of the world, are you using it to its full potential? Seriously, most people carry more power in their pocket than they ever act on. Let us know in the comments, which of these countries is on your bucket list? Country number 5, Malaysia. A stunning, almost overwhelming fusion of jungle, skyscrapers, and culture. The Petronas Towers standing tall over Kuala Lumpur, twin silver giants reaching into clouds that hang low over the city. At night, they light up the entire skyline. A symbol of ambition, of a nation that decided to build something extraordinary, and did. Below them, one of the most vibrant street food cultures in the world. Hawker stalls open until 3 in the morning. Char kway teow sizzling on a wok over open flame. Roti canai pulled and folded with the kind of skill that takes decades to master. Markets alive with color, noise, and the kind of smells that make you stop mid-step just to take it all in. Barbadians can enter visa-free for up to 30 days. And those 30 days, they can genuinely change how you see the world. Because here's the surprising part. Malaysia isn't just a destination. It's a doorway, a hub, a crossroads where East meets West, where ancient tradition lives side by side with modern ambition. Positioned right at the heart of Southeast Asia, it's one of the easiest places on Earth to travel onward from. Thailand to the north, ornate temples, misty mountains, and beaches that look photoshopped. Indonesia to the south, over 17,000 islands, each one different, each one waiting. Vietnam just a short flight away, ancient UNESCO cities, emerald bays carved out of limestone cliffs, and street food that rivals anywhere in the world. One visa-free entry into Malaysia becomes a launch pad for an entire region. One passport, one stamp, and suddenly a continent opens up. And it all starts with that Barbadian passport in your hand. Country number 6, Hong Kong, a city that genuinely does not sleep, a city that does not slow down, a city that seems to exist at a slightly faster frequency than everywhere else, a skyline that feels like it was designed by someone who had never heard the word impossible. Skyscrapers cutting through low-hanging clouds, so tall, so dense, that from certain angles, the buildings seem to disappear into the sky entirely. Neon signs bleeding color into wet pavement after the rain. The Star Ferry crossing the harbor at dusk, while the city lights begin to flicker on, one by one, until the whole waterfront is blazing gold and white. Walk through Mongkok at midnight, the streets so packed, so alive, that you feel like the city is breathing around you. The smell of dim sum drifting from a restaurant that has been open since 1953. A wet market tucked between a luxury boutique and a century-old tea house. A city that is equal parts ancient and cutting edge, where a 1,000-year-old temple sits quietly in the shadow of a glass tower. And Barbadian passport holders get 90 days visa-free. 90 days in all of that. That is nearly a full season in one of the most electrifying, inspiring, and surprising urban environments on the entire planet. Finance, fashion, food, film, art, culture on every single corner. And a business ecosystem that doesn't just connect you to Hong Kong, it connects you to mainland China, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and the entire Asia-Pacific region. From one city, from one base of operations. Most people don't know this. Hong Kong and Singapore together make the Barbadian passport a serious force in Asian mobility. Two of the most important cities in the world. Zero visa hassle for Bajans. The kind of access that some much larger, much wealthier passport holders simply cannot match. Think about that for a second. Let it land. And that brings us to the final country on this list, and without question, the most powerful one yet. Country number 7, Canada. Vast, quiet in some places, electric in others, raw and wild in ways that genuinely humble you, and open, completely open to Barbadians. Close your eyes for a second. Picture this. You land in Toronto on a clear September morning, the CN Tower piercing the skyline, the city humming with energy, people from over 200 nationalities, all living, working, and building something together. You clear customs, no visa required. You walk out of that airport, and Canada is yours. Drive west, and the cities eventually give way to the prairies. Endless golden fields under skies so wide they feel cinematic. Keep going, and suddenly the Rocky Mountains appear on the horizon. Enormous, silent, ancient. Standing at the base of something like that changes you in a way that is very hard to explain until you experience it yourself. From the thunder of Niagara Falls, water so powerful the ground shakes beneath your feet, to the silence of the northern lights moving across a sky so dark and clear it genuinely doesn't look real. Canada contains multitudes, and all of it is visa-free for a Bajan traveler. Canada and Barbados share deep historical ties, a shared Commonwealth bond. generations of Barbadians who built lives and legacies in Canadian cities. That relationship runs in both directions, and it shows in the open door policy that welcomes Bajan travelers without a single form to fill in advance. But here's why this one closes the list. Canada isn't just a place to visit, it's a place to grow, a place to invest in yourself, a place to arrive as one version of who you are and leave as something more. Think about what that actually means for a Barbadian student. Flying into Toronto or Montreal, walking the campuses of some of the world's top-ranked universities, University of Toronto, McGill, UBC, sitting in on open days, talking to professors, building real relationships with people who could shape your entire academic future, all before submitting a single application. No visa, no waiting, just showing up and making it happen. That is a competitive advantage most people never think to use. Think about what it means for a Barbadian entrepreneur. Landing in Vancouver, one of North America's fastest-growing tech hubs, attending industry conferences, meeting with investors who are actively looking for the next big idea, sitting across the table from people who have the capital and the connections to take something small and make it extraordinary. Exploring a market of 40 million people with some of the highest average incomes in the world. All of that without a visa appointment ever standing in your way. Think about what it means for a Barbadian family. Taking children to see a world beyond the island they grew up on. Showing them that the world is large and welcoming and full of possibility. That kind of experience doesn't just create memories, it rewires how a young person sees what's possible for their own life. And when the trip is done, you fly home with knowledge you didn't have before, with connections that didn't exist before, with a vision of your own future that is bigger, bolder, and more clearly defined than it was when you left. That is the quiet, extraordinary power of a Barbadian passport in 2026. It is not just about where you can go. It is about who you can become when you get there. It is about the doors that open, sometimes without you even knocking, the conversations that happen, the ideas that are born, the version of yourself that emerges on the other side, all because you showed up, all because your passport said you were welcome. 7 countries, 7 open doors, and this is just the beginning. The Barbadian passport reaches further than most people realize. It carries more weight than most people ever use. It opens rooms that most of the world is still knocking on the outside of. And in 2026, the world is more accessible to Bajans than at any point in history. The question is no longer whether the world will let you in. The question is, what are you waiting for? So tell me in the comments right now, if you could book a flight to one of these 7 countries tomorrow, no planning, no overthinking, no excuses, which one would it be? And what would you do the very first day you arrived?